Hello, BookTube. We have a 2-book mail haul here to start off the week. The morning's delivery. It's howlingly windy here. I'm amazed these packages stayed on the porch. Just howlingly windy. To the point where I thought Frida was actually going to be airborne during our walk, because she's a tiny little thing. She doesn't think she is, but she's a tiny little thing. But it's just 2 packages. I'm naturally looking at packages now with an extra bit of wariness, because I just did my grand book move, my grand book shift. I cleared off the February shelf all the remaining books for February, some of which I still want to write about. And I moved up all of the March books, and I organized them by release date from beginning of the month to the end of the month, so that I don't have to worry about running a review of something 2 weeks, 3 weeks before it comes out. That is an active worry, because if my review is negative, that's just dirty pool. You don't want to do that. You want the book to have a chance. You want the conversation to have started. It's just unprofessional, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I did that, and I moved everything else up, but my main concentration is March, and March is just, it's absurd. It's 3-4 times as many books as I could possibly give concerted attention to. So naturally, I'm worried that both of these things are going to be March books. But let's see. Let's see what we have here. We'll just do these 2. There may be more books coming today. Oh, great. Okay, no, this isn't a March book, I don't think. This comes out in the summer. Yeah, this is June. And I requested this because it sounds irresistible. Just wait till you hear this. This is by Tim Mason, and it's called The Darwin Affair. And then we have Misty London. But we also have Finch. We have a Finch on the cover as well. And this is with a special mastery of Victorian-era London and a host of familiar figures. Award-winning playwright Tim Mason's debut novel is a brilliant convergence of fact and fiction, which comes after a long, fruitful career in theater. Chief Inspector Charles Field has one task: to protect the royal family. An order that becomes quickly muddied after a public assassination attempt on Queen Victoria and the grisly discovery of a murder not far from the first crime scene. Knowing that these 2 violent events are somehow connected to the Queen's nomination of Darwin for a knighthood, Field chases a serial killer known as the Chorister through England, stonewalled by further bloodshed, kidnapping, and arson. His investigation exhumes secrets and conspiracies that were meant to stay buried, threatening those at the height of power, who are, I presume, not amused. A longtime admirer of Charles Dickens, the inspiration of Mason's main character is plucked from Bleak House's Mr. Bucket, a morally ambiguous private detective. Wouldn't it be fun, the author muses, to write a novel in which Bucket was the main character instead of a member of the supporting cast? However, the story that slowly gathered around him in my mind involved actual historical characters, and that posed difficulties. So this is a murder mystery that is somehow given its fuel by the origin of species. So I can't wait. I will wait. I will wait a little longer until June. In fact, this is probably a good example of how I'll just wait until I get the finished copy. I'll dip my toe in. I usually, when I get an advanced copy like this, I dip my toe in and just get a quick feel for it. Or sometimes I will read the whole thing if it's really interesting. Might be interesting enough to do that, where I read the whole thing, but without pencil in hand. I just read the whole thing quickly for impressions. And then I really bear down on it when I get the finished copy. The only reason that I would ever reach for a pencil when I'm reading something like this, when I'm reading that first time through, would be if I start to encounter typos. The old proofreader in me just cannot abide leaving a typo on a printed page unmarked. It's just a circle around the typo. I do it almost without thinking. But I might try that, because that sounds really interesting. I'm wondering if Darwin will be a character in the book. But anyway, it's June, so I'm off the hook for March. So let's see what this next one is, and that will be done. This one is heavy, and it's thick, so it's probably a finished copy, and if it's a finished copy, it's probably a March book. So a little bit of trauma. Yes. Can't say that Frida was particularly happy with the wind either. she is decidedly not an outdoorsy dog. I was told that. I was told to expect that. That terriers are very tough, they're very hardy, they're very smart, they have lots of energy, but they were bred to be house pets. They were bred to work and rat and mouse and live in the house. And I was told okay, once your terrier is grown up and you don't have any other dogs in the house, especially not outside dogs, you're going to notice that. You're going to notice that. And I am starting to notice it. She doesn't seem to like anything other than a bright, sunny day. And you know, neither do I. My days of tramping around in the cold and enjoying it with a pack of beagles are, I suspect, permanently over. But anyway, what have we got here? Oh, no. Okay, great. Oh, no. This is May. This is not a March book. It is very big, but it's even big in the advance copy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Okay, great. This is from the folks at Pegasus Books. This is Lauren Johnson's The Shadow King. This is the life and death of Henry VI. Look at the size of this thing. A big, generous biography of Henry VI, who doesn't get that kind of attention at all, ever. Let's see. Firstborn son of a warrior father who defeated the French at Agincourt, Henry VI of the House of Lancaster inherited the crown not only of England, but also of France, at a time when Plantagenet dominance over the Valois dynasty was at its glorious height. And yet, by the time he died in the Tower of London in 1471, France was lost. His throne had been seized by his rival, Edward IV of the House of York, and his kingdom was descended into violent chaos of the Wars of the Roses. Henry VI is perhaps the most troubled of English monarchs. I might go to King John, or even my own namesake. But let's see here. A pious, gentle, well-intentioned man who was plagued by bouts of mental illness. Oh, that's probably what she meant. In Shadow King, Lauren Johnson tells his remarkable and sometimes shocking story in a fast-paced and colorful narrative that captures both the poignancy of Henry's life and the tumultuous and bloody nature of the times in which he lived. Fantastic. This is going to get reviewed in a lot of places. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a long write-up in the London Review of Books. The TLS will certainly notice it if they haven't already. And all of the history books, all of the history periodicals will all notice this because it's rare for Henry VI to get any kind of attention, much less popular attention, much less something this big. Boy, oh boy. Okay, so neither one of these, my fears were not founded. Neither one of these are March finished copies, so I don't have to worry about it. Much less February. I don't even know what I'd do with February. I'd feel so guilty because I'm sort of locked down for February. The ones that I'm going to pay attention to in February, I already know. I'm hoping that by now, with March having, February having 2 days left, I'm hoping I don't get any more February books. But March is a Darwinian struggle right there on the shelf. It's a Darwinian struggle of what's gonna make it and what's not. But that's great. So we have the Darwin Affair, a historical murder mystery set in the Victorian era and revolving somehow around Charles Darwin and on the origin of species, and the Shadow King, a big new biography of Henry VI. That is fantastic. Great. Okay. It seems like I've got another sneezing fit coming on, so I'm going to wrap this up for now, but that was fun. So I will see you with the next mail haul, certainly, and we have other bookish stuff to talk about. Thank you, BookTube.